as promised, Mike Bjorkman is going to talk what he's good about talking about, real estate. And that's what Yodi bestowed upon you the doctorate of real estate just now, didn't he?
Yeah, I guess I've done it a while, and I appreciate that.
Well, you know, you are a regular now on the show, and you talk in real estate, which is extremely important in the Santa Clarita Valley. And one of the things that you were on last week, and we were just about to get to it, and then we had to postpone it.
Oh, right.
Shadow inventory. I mean, this is kind of this nebulous little topic, but it's also a scary topic, though. It's kind of a scary topic because it's all these homes that are sitting out there that are at some point going to hit the market, right?
Right. The media talks huge of this, and everybody says, well, we're going to have, I hear a lot of different things. Are you going to have a double dip? Are we going to have home prices stabilized? Or when they hit, what's going to go on with shadow inventory? Well, all last year I was speaking at the REO conventions and going to all of them and watching the default industry very closely. And what I found out, what's happening right now, the biggest thing that the media doesn't push is most of the banks are selling big chunks of homes off to insurance companies, annuities, hedge funds, groups of investors. So we had this inventory, and I'm not going to quote a bunch of numbers because they work for the country. I want to focus mostly on Santa Clarita. But there was, let's say there are about 25% of the shadow inventory gone, just because of that. The investors and huge corporations buying homes.
But aren't they going to be flipping that? Isn't that
No.
point?
No, the idea with them is they can only flip 25% a year. So they have a 3 to 5 year hold plan.
To what's
that's what the government is pushing on them when they're actually selling these.
I see.
So that's what they have to do. So the hedge funds especially, they have a 3 to 5 year hold plan. Last week I just did appraisals for rentals on 4 or 5 in Canyon Country. I went out there, actually photographed them, and it's called a BPO, broker's price opinion. And I have to give the value to the hedge fund company and say this is what it's worth for rent, this is what it's worth for sale. And when I went out there, they've completely remodeled these homes, and they're not flipping them. They're gonna hold on to these.
Why do they want to hold on to these homes?
Most people believe that the money that they're paying for these homes, maybe 50 cents on the dollar, obviously, which is a really good deal when you buy in bulk, but they believe the market's turning around. They believe on future appreciation. There's nothing better than having a tenant pay down a mortgage, if you will, or in this case, paying down whatever they used to buy the homes with. And with the home appreciating while a tenant's paying that down, you can't, it's really the only, I don't want to say recession-proof vehicle, but let's say inflation-proof vehicle that you can use for an investment. So if they need to take a huge chunk of their portfolio and invest in real estate, that's what they're going to do.
Well, it's a great idea to have someone else pay off your loan.
Right.
I mean, that's basically it. I mean, you can make that multiple $100,000 investment in any property, and if someone else is going to pay off the note,
right.
That's
why
dream.
So many people get very, very wealthy and secure their retirement for years to come with that vehicle. So let's get back to shadow inventory. So let's say 25% is gone that way. The other real huge push now is 25%. Let's say another 25% is going to be short sales. Before, only a certain amount of short sales were actually getting approved and the banks would foreclose. That would create more shadow inventory. Now the banks say, look, we save a lot of money when we short sell a home. Let's just get rid of it that way. Start the approval process, which is way simpler now. Like, I'm a Chase Priority partner. I got connections with short sales at B of A, at Citi, and Wells Fargo. So these things are going through a lot smoother now. If I don't have approval within 90 days, I'm very surprised. Where a year or two ago, it could take up to 6 months.
When you say approval within 90 days, are you talking about the buyer coming in and getting that bid?
Yeah, I apologize. I assume everybody knows what a short sale is, but I forget. So basically, a short sale is when somebody owes more than a home's worth. Right. So now the banks want to get those through. We negotiate a certain price with the bank, which is current market value. The banks aren't dumb. They're not giving homes away like so many people think. So we put it on the market, we get the offer, and that, like I said, that used to take up to 6 months. Sometimes it would just foreclose. Now it's like boom, 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 like clockwork. They're getting approved, and we're turning over the inventory. So that shadow inventory that they say was waiting out there, and they go by loan defaults. How many people are in default on their loan? So that's, so that takes care of 50% of it.
Let me ask you a quick question then, because the differentiation between the foreclosure and the short sale, I mean, if you want to go into that, you can, but is the goal right now to have less foreclosure?
Yes.
And the banks are saying, okay, this whole foreclosure thing is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Let's try to get the short sale going. At least we can get something for the note, and let's be able to move on and put it behind us.
They're helping the homeowners relocate. What happens when a home forecloses, not only does it cost the bank an extra, on average across the country, $50,000 per property. So now they say, hey, why don't we deal with cooperative homeowners that we can give a few grand to help relocate and save that $50,000. Not only that, we don't have to have tenants in place. A lot of these tenants are protected by 2-year leases, and we can't get them out. There's nothing you can do. So the banks obviously know short sale is the right way to go. And now we have, so there's 50% of the shadow inventory. Now let's talk specifically about Santa Clarita. We don't have nearly as much as the rest of the country. We're not Chicago. We're not, we weren't some of the parts of Florida, Arizona. We have a wonderful market, and people say it was so terrible, but compared to the rest of the world, no. So now let's say there's 25% left of this shadow inventory, and I work for a lot of banks. 12, 13, 14 accounts, and they give me their foreclosures to sell, but they just trickle out. And right now, we know there's probably 5, 10 buyers for every single property out there. So that's what creates our amazing market right now, and our appreciating market, over 10% in some areas in the last 90 days. So we don't have this shadow inventory thing. So now that people are understanding that, they're going crazy trying to buy a house right now with interest rates hovering around 3%.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, okay, so let me get over to that point of it, because it is a great time to buy right now. What do you do? What do people do when there is no inventory? I mean, how do you get these families who are wanting to come into Santa Clarita Valley? How do you find a home? How do you get them into the right home?
And that's the biggest thing. Most of the phone calls that I'm taking, again, in the last 6 months are probably agents saying, or people saying to agents or myself, Mike, I can choose from 1,500 agents out there. What specifically are you going to do to find me a home? Because we're looking everywhere. As soon as it comes in our email, or as soon as we see it on a website, the agents are telling us there's 5 to 10 offers on it and there's a bidding war. Well, first of all, I'm truly blessed. I've been here my whole life. I have thousands of past clients. So I can work that database to find those people that are wanting to move. Owning ScV Leasing, the property management company, I have over 350 homes at my disposal. I pick up the phone, I'm managing, so I always know when those people are moving. And then I talk to hundreds of people a week. Everybody calls for free, good real estate advice. Says, Mike, I'm thinking about selling my home. I'm thinking about renting your home. So I database that. So I have literally thousands and thousands of people that I can market to. And it just goes from there. We've been keeping phone numbers and email addresses for 20 years. The things normal agents can do is there's network groups. We as agents get together. I'm part of the ScV network group. 20 of the top agents in town, we get together every Tuesday and say, hey, if I found this, I could have this for sale. And we really work hard to network like that. I have almost every single agent's email, so I'm constantly looking for what we call pocket listings, which homes that are maybe being spruced up that aren't on the market yet, but they're gonna be. And I'll say, hey guys, I'm looking for a 3+2, and I'm really, really hounding it. So then we do things that some of the agents can't or won't do, which means we'll do direct mail. We'll knock on doors. Whatever it takes to find somebody a home in this market, we have to do. Because the last thing I want to do is tell my buyer, you lost another one. You lost another one. Sometimes it takes buyers to lose a house or two to understand. They may not trust their agent up front. They say, there's no way this $350,000 house is going to sell for $400,000. Well, okay, watch. And then you'll get 10, 20 offers, and there goes the bidding. And right now, the hardest part is the investors. They're willing to buy anything because they got a lot of money left over, and they will buy anything full price. And when we see an all-cash offer, it's hard to turn down.
I can only imagine that it's got to be very, very frustrating for a family that wants to come into this valley, because there is nothing here. And everyone has an idea of exactly what they want. They just can't find it right now. And that is just...
It's crazy. There's
very, very difficult.
Neighborhoods in Santa Clarita that might have more than 500 units or homes, let's say, and I have not seen a home come on the market in 6 months in these particular neighborhoods. So we tell our buyers, I know the perfect home for you. It's this square footage, these average lot size, it goes to these schools, and it's just perfect. Now we can't find one. So we can't just wait around for them to pop up in the MLS anymore. We have to aggressively dive into that neighborhood and grab these properties for people. We talked about why the inventory is so low last week, but it's just amazingly, challenging, like you say.
You mentioned schools. And we're going to bring on Jim Gibson here, and he's going to talk about Measure QS in just a second. And schools are extremely important. And obviously, as Mike is here, because Tammy is sick, and Mike is our real estate guy, he's going to be on in a couple of days on our next show, which we're going to do from the Performing Arts Center at College of the Canyons. That'll be a lot of fun. We will continue this conversation at that time on our next program. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, Jim Gibson from the Castaic Union School District.